Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. She told me, players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them.
This week in Women in Sports, shots fired. The strong statement from the Lynx star and how other players from the league are reacting. Plus, a young player to now calling games for the WNBA. I'll introduce you to the voice of the Lynx. And then we now know the schedule for the Minnesota Frost this upcoming season, who their first matchup will be against. Next.
WCCO's Women in Sports, sponsored by Franson Bank and Trust.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Marielle Mohs, and here at WCCO, we're celebrating the highlights of female athletes in this new digital segment called Women in Sports. We'll share news stories with you every week right here as we do our part to give these athletes the recognition they deserve.
These are conversations that I've been having in private, and I think it's time that people know what's happening, the way that the league is not valuing us the way that we need to be valued.
You're hearing from Napheesa Collier, turning her end-of-season interview into a passionate and bold critique of WNBA leadership. I was there when she made those comments earlier this week.
We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world.
A powerful statement from MVP runner-up and Lynx star Napheesa Collier. She used her exit interview Tuesday to criticize the WNBA leadership and referees for losing control of games.
Whether the league cares about the health of the players is one thing, but to also not care about the product we put on the floor is truly self-sabotage.
Collier specifically called out League Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and revealed private conversations they had earlier this year.
I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me, players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them.
The commissioner responded to Collier's comments in a statement saying, in part, I am disheartened by how Napheesa characterized our conversations and league leadership. But even when our perspectives differ, my commitment to the players and to this work will not waver.
Who Fee has become as a player and a person in this league is really important. Her voice is important.
Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve was fined $15,000 by the league for her outbursts over the officiating in the semifinals. Collier on Sunday also called out these fines as ignoring the real problem.
I'm sure that they will fine me. I mean, it seems like anything with free speech is fined now, so.
Well, many WNBA players threw their support behind Collier following those scathing comments. Here's just a few. Chicago Sky star Angel Reese posted on X, 10 out of 10, no notes. Los Angeles Sparks standout Derek Hamby added, thank you for your bravery. Isabel Harrison from the New York Liberty wrote, standing with Fee. And the president of the Women's National Basketball Players Association, Nneka Ogwumike, said in a post, time is ticking and Fee speaks for me. We should note the players and the league have been in ongoing collective bargaining negotiations for a while now. The current deadline is the day of Halloween. Meanwhile, Collier also shared more details about her ankle injury. She tore a couple of ligaments and would not have been able to play in the finals if they made it. Reports say she specifically suffered a grade 2 tear of 3 ligaments in her ankle and a muscle in her shin. There's a minimum 6-week recovery period for an injury like that. Well, taking a look back at how the drive for 5 came up just short for the Lynx, the Mercury overcame a 13-point fourth quarter deficit to beat the Lynx in Game 4. The Lynx were without their superstar and their head coach for that game. They were the best team in the league all season long, so this early exit is especially disappointing.
I just care about the people around me, and I've always been like that. That's how I move. That's how I've always moved in this league, and I just care. So. I think Phoenix played a hell of a game, hell of a series. They did what they had to do.
Yet there is still a lot worth celebrating. Viewership was up, averaging nearly 1 million fans a game. The Lynx held the top seed in the league all season long, and Alana Smith won Co-Defensive Player of the Year. One woman who had a front row seat to all of this is Sloan Martin. I got to learn the unique story behind the voice of the Lynx.
And it looks like that's going to be a three-point play opportunity. This crowd swelling right now. Couldn't even hear the whistle.
When the Lynx play at Target Center, you can find Sloan Martin perched above section 132 doing play-by-play.
And Williams comes away with the basketball. Throws it up ahead to a sprinting Alana Smith, who finishes on the run for two.
Telling the story of the game beyond what fans see on TV.
Powers barrels her way, and Courtney Williams, a nasty block on Boston on the interior. You could hear that pop from up here.
Bringing you exclusive conversations with the standout player of the game.
We are joined now by Lynx guard Kayla McBride. I'm so glad you're joining me again. I appreciate it.
Where we are as a team, it's just so connected.
It's a role Sloan treasures.
Women's sports to me is not a means to an end when it comes to my career. This is what the dream was.
The dream did not come easy, but it was manifested at a young age, growing up in Los Angeles as a basketball player and big fan of the WNBA.
I've been chasing this career since I was 14 years old.
Sloan went on to play D3 basketball at St. John Fisher in New York, not only playing, but getting reps on the microphone, calling other college games. When she graduated, she joined a newsroom in Rochester, New York to continue to hone her skills.
Learning my voice, learning my cadence, just getting the opportunity to talk and to be on air.
She eventually made her way to Minnesota, continuing her journalism career at WCCO Radio and Big Ten Network, calling volleyball games. But in 2020, COVID paused sports and forced Sloan to cover news she never expected.
They're calling on the prosecution of the officers involved and want justice for George Floyd.
Sloan was in the streets of Minneapolis covering the unrest following the murder of George Floyd.
I'm just looking north on Nicollet Avenue, and I'm still seeing the smoke that was almost overwhelming and choking when I was over there. There were huge fires.
She captured some of the darkest moments in the city's history.
It felt like a pressure cooker, and finally it just had to be released.
How did sports come back into your life from there?
Where I realized, I think I need an off-ramp from this.
She took the leap of faith and left radio news to make sports a full-time career and landed a job with the Lynx.
Jakova, spot up three, she's got it.
She travels with the team for every game and has been in every WNBA arena this year, giving her a front row seat to the growth of women's sports.
It has dialed up across the entire league, where it becomes a significant factor going into road arenas, just how strong, how packed they are. And you really see that all over the place. But you got to say, right here, Target Center, hard to match.
When you reflect on the full circle moment of being a little WNBA fan and being where you are now, what do you think of that?
It still feels like a pinch me kind of moment, but keeping your dream should be of utmost importance if that's been the goal all this time.
Sloan sure sets a high standard. You can continue to follow her reporting in the Lynx offseason. She's also calling college basketball, hockey, volleyball, and softball games for the Big Ten Network. Meanwhile, the WNBA finals are currently underway between the Mercury and the Aces. Las Vegas beat the Indiana Fever in the semifinals. And you can take it as a sign of the times and growing popularity of women's sports. The NCAA has decided to hold the 2028 Women's Final Four at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. That's where the Colts play. The games were originally going to be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, where the Pacers and Fevers play. The Division I Women's Basketball Committee says the plan is to play around half of the capacity of the stadium, but the event will still gain about 13,000 seats. An expanded 120-game coast-to-coast schedule has now been announced by the PWHL. Among those games are 20 options for neutral site outings. However, the venues and locations have not been released yet. Puck drop is November 21st, with Seattle traveling to play Vancouver. They are the league's newest franchises. That same day, the two-time defending Walter Cup champion, the Minnesota Frost, will open their season hosting Toronto. Here's how the PWHL's third season will work. Teams will play a 30-game schedule, same as last year, and face their opponents a minimum of 4 times, twice at home and twice away. The season will then end with 4 games on April 25th. The schedule will also feature the league's first Olympic break, a 28-day stretch starting on January 29th. In soccer, a massive honor for the U.S. women's national team coach. Emma Hayes has now been inducted into the English National Football Museum's Hall of Fame. She became the U.S. women's national team coach in 2024 and led the team to a gold medal at the Paris Olympics. Before that, Hayes led Chelsea to 7 women's Super League titles in 12 years at the helm. Well, it's race weekend for the thousands of runners taking part in the Medtronic Twin Cities Marathon weekend. But for many, the days leading up to the races have been reminding them of 2 years ago when organizers canceled the marathon because of the extreme heat. This is video from last year's event. Races in the Twin Cities start Saturday morning with the 10K and 5K. Then Sunday is the big day with the 10-mile half marathon and full marathons. We'll have runners cruising from Minneapolis to St. Paul. Officials say they're keeping an eye on the warm forecast, but do not anticipate having to cancel. But they do expect conditions not to be really ideal. An employee and runner at Mill City Running Store in Minneapolis shared her take on the weather this year.
It's been hotter than this all summer, so I think the training this week is just status quo, stay the course, but again, focus on rehydrating a little bit better. If the week stays as it's written right now in those upper 80s and then it cools down to 60 something on race day, that's going to feel like a pretty good temperature drop for most people, and you'll feel a little bit more fresh on the starting line. So hopefully it cools off on race day.
Meanwhile, up in Duluth, it was a record-setting night for Grandma's Marathon. Registration opened at 7 p.m. on Wednesday for the 5K, half, and full. Each sold out in just hours. Next year will be the 50th running of the full marathon, so organizers say they were prepared for increased interest. Runners will take to the North Shore on June 20th next year. Well, thanks for watching this week's Women in Sports. I'm Marielle Mohs. We'll be back with more great stories next week.